There is a certain type of person who parks his 2011 Honda Civic in the same parking lot every morning. The paint is faded, there's a small dent on the rear bumper, and there is absolutely nothing luxurious about it. His colleagues imagine he is barely making ends meet, living paycheck to paycheck, and is likely one emergency away from real trouble. But what they don't suspect is that he has $4.2 million in index funds, his mortgage is fully paid off, his children's college funds are completely funded, and he could retire tomorrow if he wanted to. He chooses the Civic on purpose. According to research by specialists in the book The Millionaire Next Door, the average price millionaires pay for their cars is only $31,367. An Experian study found that 61% of people earning over $250,000 drive brands like Honda, Toyota, or Ford rather than BMW or Mercedes. They choose ordinary cars that blend into any parking lot in America. Meanwhile, 8% of people earning under $100,000 own expensive luxury vehicles, meaning they spend $60,000 on a car while making $50,000 a year. Thus, one group looks rich, while the other group actually is rich, and these two groups rarely look alike. This isn't a video about being stingy. It's about understanding something most people never grasp. That looking poor can be the most important strategy you'll ever use. Research shows that people who actually accumulate money behave nothing like those who merely imitate a high luxury lifestyle. Thomas Stanley and William Danko spent decades studying millionaires, and their findings shattered every assumption about what wealthy individuals look like. 80% of millionaires are first-generation wealthy. They didn't inherit their wealth, they earned it. Half of them have lived in the same home for more than 20 years and are far more likely to drive a Ford than a Bentley. The authors found that millionaires are concentrated in middle-class or blue-collar neighborhoods, not elite ones. This surprised even the researchers, but the explanation is simple. High-paid professionals often direct their money toward luxury goods to show they've made it, while true wealth builders understand that every dollar spent on external status is a dollar that won't compound with interest over the next 30 years. Dave Ramsey's research confirms this. The top 3 car brands driven by millionaires are Toyota, Honda, and Ford, while BMW doesn't appear until 6th place. Jeff Bezos drove a Honda Accord, Mark Zuckerberg has been spotted in an Acura TSX, Google's Larry Page drove a Toyota Prius, and Warren Buffett still lives in the same house he bought in 1958 for $31,500. This isn't about people who can't afford better. It's about individuals who decided that looking rich simply isn't worth it. The philosophy behind this choice reveals something interesting. Sociologist Thorstein Veblen introduced the idea of conspicuous consumption over a century ago, highlighting that people don't buy products just for utility, but as signals. Luxury brands don't sell materials, they sell status. A $50,000 watch tells time just as well as a $50 one, but the remaining $49,950 buys status in the eyes of others. Research shows that people who view money as a tool of power are actually less financially satisfied because they buy expensive things to impress others, often without planning their expenses. The irony is great. The pursuit of image prevents wealth itself, as every leased BMW, an expensive bag, represents missed investments in index funds. A 2025 Empower study proved that 62% of millionaires still budget their finances and look for deals because they understand that the habits that created the wealth are the same ones that preserve it. According to Javelin Research, identity theft affects 6.4% of the general population, but that percentage jumps to 8.1% for people with portfolios over $1 million. Wealthy Americans are 43% more at risk for such activities because the more visibly wealthy you are, the bigger target you become for attacks where criminals use social media to pose as trusted advisors. The Federal Trade Commission says Americans lost $10.3 billion to scammers in 2023, with investment scams targeting affluent people alone, amounting to $4.6 billion. So, looking poor actually hedges you. Furthermore, the social dynamics of visible wealth create tension. If you drive an expensive car, people expect you to pick up the tab at restaurants, and in expensive neighborhoods, your neighbor's spending automatically inflates your own expectations. Research shows that status is relative, and in environments with high inequality, it sends an even louder signal, leading to social distance and isolation. Meanwhile, the person with the old Honda maintains contact with a wider circle of people. No one treats them differently because of their money, and no one expects them to pay more than they have to. This social invisibility ensures authenticity in relationships because the wealthy often suffer from the power paradox, wondering if people like them or their money. The quiet millionaire knows their friendships are real. The authors of The Millionaire Next Door distinguish between prodigious accumulators of wealth, PAW, and under-accumulators of wealth, UAW. This isn't about the amount of money, but behavior. A janitor with a $50,000 salary can be a greater accumulator than a doctor with a $700,000 income if the doctor spends everything on image and prestige. The formula is simple. Multiply your age by your annual pre-tax income and divide by 10. If you are 40 and earn $150,000, you should have a net worth of $600,000. Those below the threshold are simply wasting their income to live an image larger than their neighbors. The example of cigarettes is startling. A couple who smoked 3 packs a day for 46 years spent more on cigarettes than the value of their apartment plus an extra $33,000. If they had invested that money, they would have had over $2 million. The same applies to the difference between a $30,000 car and an $80,000 car, which, after 25 years at 7% interest, turns into $270,000 wasted. Our cultural psychology has taught us that the rich spend large sums, and if you don't show it, you don't have it. But this is demonstrably misunderstood. It leads to people having a closet full of luxury clothes and an empty retirement account at age 55, while the quiet, wealthy person invests while others waste, and at 55 they have options others only dream of. The trend toward quiet luxury is a partial shift in this, as people increasingly value quality over brand. Invisible wealth has practical advantages in every aspect of daily life. Negotiations are easier when a dealer or a contractor doesn't know how much money you have, allowing you to avoid the wealth tax that service providers often impose on those with flashy cars. Even at work, it's often better to look as though you need your paycheck, because colleagues see you as a peer and bosses see you as a motivated employee. The moment you show your means, the dynamics change, and people start wondering why you're still there or if you're charging too much. In families too, it's often better for wealth to be hidden. Studies show that the more financial help children receive, the less wealth they accumulate themselves as they grow accustomed to the easy flow of money and fail to develop their own productivity. The psychological benefits of invisible wealth are many. While new purchases bring a short-lived happiness that fades due to hedonic adaptation, the sense of security from a growing net worth is constant and steady. You know you can handle any emergency, which allows you to sleep peacefully. In the end, it all comes down to simple math. If you earn $200,000 and save 25%, after 25 years, you will have $3.4 million and look middle class. But if you save only 5% to maintain status, you will have barely $680,000 and remain financially fragile despite looking rich. Real success isn't in the things you own, but in the freedom you've bought with the money you didn't spend. That Honda Civic in the parking lot is a symbol of that choice, valuing compound interest more than social approval and building security instead of showing status. Because the goal was never to impress strangers, it was to be free and to be yourself.